Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, X-Wing players and potential X-Wing players, and anyone who is interested in Star Wars games, welcome to our channel. My call sign is BatMando, and as you see, I have initiative for round 2 in this Children of Mandalore scenario that is referred to as cargo disruption. Now, this is not your typical scenarios that you see in all of the games. This was a organized play kit that was released several years ago. I just happened to get a copy of it and thought it would be nice to share it on the channel. As you can see, the pilots, as they go on by, I will also remind you that the odds are not even in this particular scenario. As in, since I am the protector, I only get 18 points for the list, and Rogue 2 gets 23 points for his list. So the objectives are also not the same. You will notice that there is a cargo ship there on the board next to the asteroid closest to center. As the aggressor, Rogue 2 is attempting to take out all of my cargo ships before they exit the mat on his side, giving me 6 points for every time that they do. He gets 6 points for every time that he destroys one of my cargo ships. Now, as you can see, Joy just came in real hot and then boosted, and Rogue 2 decided not to give Joy a stress and a focus. Now you see that Cad Solus is also coming in hot. Now Rogue 2 has to determine whether or not Cad Solus is going to boost. Cad Solus could boost and focus, and in which case, after a little bit of internal debate, you will see that Rogue 2 decides to go ahead and perform the boost and then link it into a red focus as well. So, in which case, we now see that we are moving on to the Skull Squadron pilots, also coming in hot, moving 5 forward. However, yep, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's our first bump of the game. So, in which case, he will go ahead and roll to see if damage is done to the Skull Squadron pilots, and unfortunately, Skull Squadron pilot has taken a hit because of the bump. So, as I have said, not your typical scenario. We are going ahead and moving on to our 5s, where Boba Fett is going to take a 1 hard left and perform a double focus because of the perceptive co-pilot that Boba has on the fire spray. So Old Tarok decides to move in 3 forward, and in typical Fang fashion, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be a range 1 attack. Don't forget to subscribe to our future transmissions and click like on the videos that you like. That way we know what more content to create for you. So please make certain to tell your friends about us because you are our only hope. Rogue 2 performs a boost in and then is going to be most likely taking the linked red focus for that range 1 attack. So there it is. So the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, that I really do enjoy Fangs, but apparently I can't fly them or keep them alive to save my own life. Speaking of which, Fen Rao has taken a 2-bank turn left, and, ladies and gentlemen, there is our second bump for the game, and Fen Rao is going to take a red focus there in front of Skull Squadron pilot on my side, along with the Mandalorian Royal Guard. Now it is time for shots, and Fen Rao will start our shots off because Fen Rao is the highest initiative pilot on the board. So, getting the defense dice ready, and you're about to see whether or not I can keep a Fang fighter alive. So we go ahead and see that the die have been cast, a focus has been spent, and Fen Rao gives MRG a crit. So this is not going to go well. Then I examine the crits and then decide that I am going to go ahead and use Beskar plating to remove the crit itself. So, now, in which case, if you're not familiar with Mandalorian Royal Guard, or I'm sorry, if you're not familiar with the Beskar plating, then double check the website that we put into the video descriptions to take you to fandom, and you can see the card for itself. But essentially, you can spend 2 charges to completely erase a crit. So, but you can only do that once. Alright, So now we have Boba Fett doing his thing. And Boba Fett is now without a focus because Old T used Old T's ability to strip all green tokens at range 1 at that point in time. So Boba Fett misses Fen Rao altogether. And now we're going to go on to our next series of shots, which is most likely going to be Old T firing into Boba Fett. As you can see, I like to keep the dice warm at that point in time. And we have our results. And then using Boba Fett's ability, Old Terok was able to remove 3 shields from Boba. And then during the course of the game, there's lots of different factors that go on and everything else. And then I realized, wait a second, what if I just go ahead and use the MRG's ability, as in Mandalorian Royal Guard's ability. So he's going to take a strain and a deplete to minimize the damage to 2 shields instead of 3. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're moving right along to our next set of shots. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to be doing with Mandalorian Royal Guard. So, the attack dice are ready to go, and in which case I have a range 1 shot onto Fen Rao. However, I only can use 3 dice because of the deplete that I took on in order to reduce the damage to Boba. Now, in which case, defense dice have been cast, and MRG completely misses Fen Rao due to Concordia faced off, and that extra evade that's just automatic is just absolutely horrendous when you're trying to take down Fen Rao. Okay, so that being said, we're moving on to the next series of shots here. So we're going to have some shots between both of our Skull Squadron pilots. In other words, I'm shooting at his SSP with my SSP, and the dice have been cast, and apparently I miss his Skull Squadron pilot. So we will now continue moving forward. So, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, all sorts of crazy things can happen, and I've never made it a secret that when I'm flying things, for whatever reason, the dice don't work with me, and I will also tell you that I can lose the thing very easily, so that's why you never see me really flying them ever in a tournament. Now, we're about to receive all the attacks back, and Cad Solus destroys MRG in that one shot right there, as you can see. So now we're entering into round 3. Rogue 2 is first player in this particular round. Now we do edit this game so that it's easier for us to get through to some of the highlights. So, and during the system phase, I had my Skull Squadron pilot do a Mandalorian optics target lock on Fen Rao. Cad Solus is now coming in with a 2 bank left, maybe scratching the paint as he gets on over to line up for a shot. Cargo ship 1 is moving forward because we realize, oh, wait a second, we need to be doing that. So, now, in which case you can see that cargo ship 2 has also moved forward, and we will continue to get those ships off of the board. And now, pretty soon, Rogue 2 is going to have to make some decisions as to whether he is going to continue to attack my squadron or if he's going to go and change direction and take on or take out the cargo ships. So, now, in which case, we are now moving on to Cad Solus is taking a focus at this point in time. And then we'll go ahead and take Skull Squadron pilots in on a 1 hard turn. So here in a second, you're going to hear the decision process that Rogue 2 goes through, along with a little bit of our usual witty banter as we play through the game. So listen up.
I really kind of want to.
Don't boost forward.
Huh?
Don't boost forward.
I kind of want to.
If you
I
boost
kind of want
forward,
to
you're
go
not
here.
gonna miss it. Or okay. You boost Well, I'm talking about you don't want to.
Yeah, I
boost
can't
straight.
move straight. No, I
Yeah.
just can't.
No.
Yeah,
Can't do it.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. I was thinking about the.
I think you should
boosting
barrel
more.
roll onto here.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought
Okay.
about that, and then I thought, no. What happens if I land on top of these guys? Can I
It
land on top
doesn't
of them?
say anything,
So I can land on top of them?
as far as I know,
But then that would, if that puts them in my arc, I'm.
because it's
Are
a
they not an
remote.
obstacle?
So it'd be a 0, right?
Yeah, it'd be a range 0.
Why aren't they an obstacle? Like your little.
Well, now I kind of want to
asteroids.
barrel roll into them,
Just stay there and focus. You're fine.
but I can do both.
But you'll be stressed if you do the other one.
But I can do both. Yeah, let's do this. This will be fun. We're gonna have fun. Let's have
Okay.
some fun.
Just remember, you are still here to have fun and play the game. So he goes ahead and does a barrel roll with a linked focus, even though I think he could have done something else. But at this point in time, just remember, it's all about fun. And don't forget to subscribe to our future transmissions. Click like on our videos. The more we know what videos you like, the more videos we know to make. So help us help you. And remember, tell your friends about us because you are our only hope. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see that he's gone ahead and placed himself right on top of the cargo ship, number 2, and then Joy takes a 1 hard turn right, and then he goes through another little thought process of does he go ahead and boost straight forward to get that range 1 shot on the cargo ship number 2, and as you can see, he is definitely going to do that, but he wanted to check to see if he had range 1 without boosting forward, but he did not. So he boosts on forward, then he goes ahead and links it into a red focus, getting ready to basically decimate that cargo ship if at all possible. So now, as you can see, I decide to go ahead and perform a Talon roll to the left with my Skull Squadron pilot, trying to capitalize as best as I can with that target lock on Fen Rao that I already took during the system phase with using Mandalorian optics. Now, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Old Terrock is going to take a hard turn 2 to the left, and then we're going to see what his action is going to be at that point in time. Obviously, there's a lot of decision making that goes into this game, trying to figure out what it is that you want to do and how do you best fulfill your objectives. So he goes ahead and takes a forward boost along with a linked red focus at that point in time, because obviously they are trying to focus fire as best as they can onto cargo ship number 2 to get that 6 points. Now, speaking of which, there's a bump right there, my first bump of the game with uh, Boba doing his thing and taking a double red focus. If you're asking how, basically it comes down to that perceptive co-pilot, and once you take a focus action, you get or you gain a focus token. So now, as you can see, Fen Rao did a 2-bank left, or was it right? I'm sorry. Now, in which case you're going to see that he barrel rolls out of the rear arc of Boba and is still able to get out of the arc of my other Fang fighter. Now, there was a thing that took place in that little blip that we have here, so we had to go ahead and go back and fix it. So, long story short, there was a question of can old Terrock take the focus tokens at range 0? His card specifically says range 1. So we had to roll it back so that we could get the focus tokens back on the table for the change in the exchange of all the different shots and everything else. So that was what was going on in this segment, because as you can see, I'm leaning over there and taking a look at range or looking at the specific wording on Old Terrock, and it did confirm that we did actually have the focus tokens back at it. So that obviously changes a little bit of the damage that's going on, and as you can see when we get back into or out of this little blip, here we go. All right, so Boba was able to hit Cad Solus for 1 hit and a blocked crit. So again, Cad Solus also having Beskar plating was able to, or was basically able to erase the crit that had hit him. And now we continue moving forward with other shots. So my 5 is already shot. Fenral had no shot this particular round due to where he's facing. And Joy was able to hit Cargo Ship 2 for a shield and a hit. By the way, the cargo ships have 1 shield and I believe it's 4 hull. So essentially, you want to try to blast those things out of the water as soon as possible. I could be wrong. It could be 5 hull. So, but either way, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that they are not exactly the easiest targets to take down due to the number of hits that have to be made in order to make it disappear. Now, as you can see, warming up dice for our next volley of shots. And so doing a little bit of modification, a little bit of discussion here, and which one is going to cancel what out, and Boba Fett's doing a reroll here. Nothing helping with that reroll. So, in which case, Boba has now had 2 shields stripped off of him, and then there was a crit added onto it. So, now we are going ahead and moving on with what shots we have remaining. Rogue 2 debating what shots he should take at this point. Should he fire into Cargo Ship 2 or should he fire into Boba? And in which case you notice that Boba was the target and Skull Squadron pilot did miss. Now make certain to come back and join us same BatMando time, same BatMando channel, and as always, BatMando out.